And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be around the world. We are here on LinkedIn Live, Passion Fridays, here with Diane Rudolph, joining us live on Passion Fridays. Wherever you are across platforms, we are going through Restream. And so you may be live also on YouTube events or on Facebook as well. And so just shout out in the comments where you are, what city or country you're in, and what the weather is like there. I am on the northwest side of Detroit, and it's starting to get cooler and cooler as the days go by. So drop that temperature in the comments wherever you are. I'm just going to look across platforms. I see you. Thank you so much for coming. And if you will click share and tag some folks to join us in this discussion, I think you will have a great time learning some great stuff from a great person. And so I am so excited to have Diane Rudolph here with us. She is a new author, and we're going to get a chance to talk a little bit about her book and tell you an opportunity that's happening later this evening where you might win a copy of that book, but you can certainly purchase, and we'll find out from her today. So Diane Rudolph, welcome, and thank you so much for taking the time to be with us on this Passion Friday.
And thank you for having me.
I am so excited to have you. For those that are in the LinkedIn community, Diane served the city of Detroit well. She was an HR manager who retired, and I think she's looking better after retirement than even she looked great during work, but she looks even better. So I don't know what that means. I think maybe we should look forward to that time in the future, Diane, but it looks like you're having the time of your life in retirement. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about your time at the city of Detroit. So you served the city of Detroit how many years?
Oh, I think it was over 31 years.
31 years. And when you
Yes.
started there, had you planned to stay 31 years? Was that your plan?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever anyone's plan. It isn't mine. I said 5 years, Diane, not 17. So I don't know. But so you started with the city of Detroit, and in what role did you start?
I started in a very humble role, actually, as a junior typist.
Wonderful. A junior typist. And I think it's amazing. We haven't touted it the way that we should, Diane, but it's amazing. You can come into the city of Detroit and you can navigate. There's so many opportunities for mobility for you to go in different areas and grow and develop. You know, if you find the
Absolutely.
right pathway and portal for you, you can definitely do that. So what attracted you to human resources?
Well, sometime in my career of being a office assistant, because the titles did change over the years from senior typist and junior typist to office assistant. So I was working as an office assistant when I decided to go back and get my degree. And you know what happened was I wanted a change. And I shared this testimony a little bit in my book about how, I loved my job. I love working in the office, but something down on the inside was yearning to do more, to learn more, to know more, to experience more. And I couldn't do that where I was at. I could do that job with my eyes closed. I had no challenges, and it was eating me up on the inside. And so I tried the promotional process, and I talk about being the metaphor of being trapped in the barrel. And when you're in a large pool, like the clerical pool, and it's so many of you, when one opportunity comes up, everyone's grabbing for it.
Sure.
And there's a tendency, because of survival, that while we're all grabbing for it, we're pulling each other down. And I got pulled down a couple of times. And I made up in my mind then I was never going to pull anybody else down in the promotional process, that I was going to help people out of the barrel, not hinder them out of the barrel. And that's kind of what human resources did for me. And when I saw the posting, I went back to college, I got my degree. And when I saw the posting, I knew my spirit connected with it and all the functions of an HR consultant. And I loved how they worked in service with people and departments. And that was something that I yearned for in my career. And I applied for it. And in a couple of months, I interviewed. And at that time, they were doing testing, believe it or not, and passed the test with flying colors, and my journey in human resources started at that point.
Wow, that's awesome. I love that you say that you determined that you would not keep people down, but you would lift people up. And I think that
Yeah,
is certainly true of the time that I had the pleasure of working with you and knowing you. You were always someone who wanted to develop and motivate other people. And so
yeah.
now I hear more clearly where that kind of originated. You wanted to make sure that there would be opportunities. How important to you, Diane, is it that leaders make opportunities for other people to stand in new opportunities and move themselves up? I want to first ask that question.
I think it's very important as leaders and managers that we provide opportunities and we mentor and encourage the ones that are under us and push them, because I was actually pushed. And
Mhm.
sometimes you need a little push, and you need that confidence that your leader will give you. So I think that's a role that we have to play in the lives of the ones that serve under us.
Yeah, we're talking live to Diane Rudolph. She is the writer, brand new author, book just released that we want you to get. Is it Succeed in Business is the
It's
title?
succeed in the business world.
Succeed in the business world. Thank you for that. And so we want to have you join us. Click share, tag some folks to join us in the discussion. I see Andrea Williams in New York says that it's snow. Wow, you guys have snow. Then I will not complain, Andrea. Thank you for that. Thank you for reminding me that we have no reason to complain. Diane, you also talked about going back to school. What would you say to people who might feel stuck and they're in a position like you were? They could do their job with their eyes closed. It's no challenge for them. What would you say to them about going to their next step?
Well, I think at that point, when you know that you want to move and you want to grow, and there's no opportunities around you, you need to evaluate your situation. You
Mhm.
need to do an assessment of what you want to do, where you want to go. I don't think you should invest in school unless it's the right choice for you, because it's an expensive investment. So
Mhm.
you have to make sure you have a clear career choice,
Mhm.
know what you want to do, know what your heart is telling you to do. And that's a part of my book, Discovering Your Professional Calling. I give you the steps on how to discover what you're meant to do, what your purpose to do in your life.
Mhm. And how did you, Diane, know what you were purposed to do in your life? How did you come to that?
I knew it because I had a connection with people, and I knew that I wanted to work with people. And in human resources, that's all we do.
Yeah.
It's not a lone job. You work with many people in different areas,
Yeah.
supervisors, managers,
Yeah.
executive level,
Yeah.
employees, and union representation,
Mhm.
outside vendors. We work with a vast amount of people,
Mhm.
and I enjoyed all of it. I loved it.
Mhm. Who were some of your mentors?
Well, first and foremost, my most important mentor in my life, and I'll probably get to her a little more when I tell you how I was led to write the book, is my pastor, Dr.
Mhm.
Gertrude Staggs, and
Okay.
she's been a tremendous blessing in my life, and she instructed me to write the book.
Okay.
That's how I got the vision, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I don't know if you want to talk about that right
That's
now.
fine. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so she was definitely a mentor of mine. And when I retired, I knew that my work wasn't finished as it relates to my career. I knew the Lord had more for me career wise on my journey. And
Mhm.
so I just prayed and I sought the Lord. And that's what the scripture tells us to do, Marcus,
Mhm.
not to come up with our own ways and not to lean to our own understanding, but to
Mhm.
acknowledge him in all thy ways, and he shall direct thy path. And
Mhm.
that's exactly what I did. I acknowledged him, I prayed, I sought him, and I kept meditating and thinking and writing notes and journaling, because I believe journaling is very important as well.
Mhm.
And a couple of months later, my pastor came to me and said, "You're supposed to write a book."
Mhm.
And sometimes we pray and we seek God and we're waiting for him to talk to us and give us the answer. But sometimes that answer comes through another individual. And and we have to be open to receive the word of the Lord. And I was open to receive it. I knew what I had prayed. I hadn't told anybody about it. So when she came to me, I knew it was God. And I thank God for my pastor. She is my mentor. She's one that encourages everyone to follow their dreams in their career and follow their dreams in their ministry. And she always wants you to be the very best that you can be and receive all the blessings of the Lord. And she has been a tremendous blessing in my life. Dr. Gertrude Stacks, pastor of Shalom Fellowship International.
All right. And in the business world, did you have any mentors in HR or in business as well? I know Dr. Stacks, a powerful woman of God that was mentor to you, but in the business world, were there any mentors that you can think of and any great lessons that you learned from them?
Well, Charlotte Bush was and I know Miss Bush. Charlotte Bush was a great mentor to me. When I came into human resources, she took me under her wing and she trained me. And more importantly than the training, she imparted the wisdom of human resources. Now, a lot of managers, they manage their employees, but many of them don't train and impart to their employees. Okay. And that's what Charlotte did to me. She trained and she imparted. She was a blessing to me. I appreciate her so much. And we are still friends. As time went on, the dynamics of our relationship changed because I became a manager just like her. And so we became colleagues and friends, and we're still friends to this day.
Yeah. And is there any great lesson that you learned in particular that you can remember that Charlotte taught you or shared or imparted to you?
Oh my goodness. It was always hustle, hustle. And I can hear her saying, okay, Rudolph, make it happen. And I would. That's great. I learned that I could do anything in the time frame that I had.
Okay. And what has been your toughest lesson that you would say that you've learned in the business world, Diane? What's the toughest lesson?
I think one of the lessons that I learned was how to handle mistakes. And yes, especially when you're, and I want my readers to know and understand that too. When you're coming into your professional calling and you're in a new field and a new career, you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to do everything right. And even though your heart is so into it and you want to do everything right and you're motivated and you're encouraged, you're going to make some mistakes. It's just a part of the process. And first of all, I learned to, when I made the mistakes, to acknowledge it. Then to learn from it. More importantly, you have to learn from that mistake. Then, just as important is getting over it. You have to get over that mistake. Don't beat yourself up about it, and don't allow those mistakes to hold you down.
Okay, that's great. And so in making mistakes, because sometimes mistakes in human resources can be costly, or they can be pervasive,
or they can be embarrassing.
And so talk a little bit more, lean in a little bit more in this mistake making when you're trying to build your reputation and brand, because of course you make that mistake that, could be embarrassing. It could impact the relationship that you were working to build with a leader in a department or business partner. So how do you recover from that mistake? You said you own that mistake, which I think is excellent, but how do you work to repair your brand, work to repair your image after you've made some missteps and mistakes?
I remember my very first recruitment, and I was so excited about it. And just ecstatic. I was doing the recruitment. I was being trained. I was doing the recruitment all by myself. And you know my personality. I got so involved in the beauty of the spreadsheet I was presenting that it lacked some accuracy.
Mhm.
because I wanted to be just so, and I wanted all the columns to be even and the fonts to be beautiful. And then when we got in the meeting with the manager, and we start looking over the interview scores, which is very important,
Sure.
my manager noticed that one of the scores was incorrect. And she asked me, would you please go to the office and pull your original documents? And when I got to the office and pulled my original documents, there were two people in the recruitment that had the same first initial and the same last name.
Mm.
So I had switched their scores.
Mm.
And so I said, oh my God, I have to go back into this meeting, tell the manager, tell my manager, tell the department director that my spreadsheet was wrong.
Mhm.
So, and it was a blessing that I caught it. And then I went back in and I did do that, and I apologized for the mistakes. And what I did after that, Marcus, I never made another mistake on a recruitment.
Mhm. Mhm.
You have to learn to shoot for excellence.
Mhm.
And when I saw what I had did and how I had did it in the process, I never made that mistake again.
Mhm.
But believe you me, while I was in the meeting, I felt like sliding under the table.
Yeah. So you ate some
You
humble
know, it's
pie.
funny to me now, but
Yeah.
it was very humiliating to me then.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be tough to go through the meeting and say, yeah, it's my mistake. And
It's
sometimes
my mistake.
we have trouble owning that, but I think it's important, you say, in order to recover is to then make yourself a goal for excellence. Shoot always for excellence. And that might help to repair your brand with that director who might want to second guess any other scores. You
And
bring.
he did, and I did repair that, and he trusted me in so many other areas and in recruitments, because I went on to do numerous successful recruitments.
Mhm.
So that's why I said, don't beat yourself up,
Mhm.
but move forward and rebound and be successful.
Right. All right. I want to talk to you a little bit about what success is to you, and just as the backdrop. So you went into human resources, you had some mentoring, you got your recruitment roles. How did you move into management? And talk a little bit about how you define success and how you have defined it as you walk through your career and in this new area of your career.
Yes, no problem. Now, one of the things that I discuss in my book about success is that there is no success without succeeding.
Mhm.
Succeeding is like the precursor to success, and that's succeeding in your goals and your plans, and completing them and following through.
Mhm.
And once you do that, you get on the road of success. A
Mhm.
lot of times we want to jump right into success
Mhm.
and not go through the process of it.
Mhm.
Succeeding is the process of success. And that's why that's the title of my book, Succeeding in the Business World, because I want all my readers to be successful. But first, I want them to succeed. And
Mhm.
I applied those same principles in my life and in my career.
Mhm.
And my goal now, where I'm at in this phase in my life, my goal and my success is to reach as many people as I can with my book, because I want to help them, empower them, energize them, and inspire them to succeed.
Mhm. And so when you were with the city of Detroit, you were an employee services consultant, right? And at
Yeah.
some point you became a manager. Did you define that as succeeding? Was that one of the parts of a process of succeeding? So for people that are watching and readers, when you say succeeding, is making a goal and achieving that goal part of the succeeding? Talk to me about the process of succeeding for you as you went from consultant to manager.
And that is a process of the goal, because while you're now, you have to have the desire to want to excel.
Mhm.
Now, some folks are just complacent where they are. And I have never been like that. I noticed that some of the HR colleagues that I had only serviced one department their whole career.
Mhm.
I can't tell you how many departments I serviced. And that enhanced my learning, my knowledge, and my ability to network with many people. So you have to keep moving and growing and not be stagnated in one area because it hinders your growth and your development. So, I basically, to get to management, my responsibilities became greater and greater. And I started off as a consultant. I did very well as that. And then I got into a leadership role as a consultant. I was a division head at a department. I had my own office, my own team. I supervised them and managed them, yet I was still a consultant. Sometimes you need to make moves like that, even though there's not any compensation associated with it, because it's a wise and it's a strategic move that's going to help you get to another place. And from that role, I went into management. So all my movements were calculated to get me where I wanted to go.
Wonderful. Lester Hugh has joined us on Facebook. Thank you. And all of you that are joining and dropping in. He says, repair as best we can and continue to build. I agree with that. Thank you, sir. And so you took a lead role as a consultant, had your own office and team. Did you have to lead people that had before been your colleagues? And how was that?
Well, in HR, when I first came in, I think I did. I'm trying to remember if I did. I think I did. And if you always keep that professionalism with your colleagues and how I carried myself in the workplace, and if you always keep that professionalism with them, and there's that level of respect, then it's not going to be hard to supervise and manage them, because foremost, they have respected you anyway. So when you come in as their leader, they're accepting that.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And so you talked about your pastor telling you, saying you need to write a book. And so that's what led you to write the book, though you had done, it sounds like already done some preparation. You were taking notes and journaling before that or after that?
I was taking notes. I was writing down ideas because, while I was in the seeking process of trying to discover, and it's just like my book, Discover Your Professional Calling. I believe you can discover your professional calling at any phase and place in your career. It's ongoing. Some people look at my book and think, oh, it's only for students. No, it's for everyone. No matter where you're at in your career, my book is for you, because there's another phase of your career that can be discovered. One point leads to another.
That's excellent. And so I asked you what success is to you, and then I would ask you, what would you recommend to others that they should consider when defining their success? So how do they go about, finding that professional calling and then determining what success looks like in that calling?
One thing they should consider is what's important to them. When you think about success, you just can't think about wealth. And, a lot of folks just automatically, oh, fame, wealth. But, think about what's important to you. Fame and wealth may not be it. What's important to you, and write down your goals and your plans and the time frame that you want to accomplish those goals. And then, you have to align those goals with the purpose in your life. It should be aligned. They shouldn't be opposite. Those goals, those plans should be aligned with the purpose on where you want to go. Because ultimately, the successful career that you discover is going to be fulfilling. You want it to be fulfilling. You want to have harmony in it and happiness in it. And that's success.
That's success. That's awesome. All right. And so when you say that's success, I mean, you've achieved success, and some people would say, now I achieved my success, Diane, and now I'm ready to retire. But you didn't just retire, you set for new success. So talk to us about, since retirement, what are some of the things that, besides the book, some of the things that you are doing or have done that you would say are parts of your succeeding through retirement or your next chapter? And Lester Hugh says, what's the name of the book? One more time, Diane, and we'll probably put up a screen of it in a little bit.
Succeed in the Business World.
Succeed in the Business World. And Lester will tell you how you might be able to purchase that, of course, before we leave here today. All right.
And then for those, go ahead, Marcus.
Go ahead. Absolutely.
For those of us who are reach the fullness of our career and retire, there's always another chapter. Mm-hmm. And you're going to find this funny, Marcus. When before I retired, we were talking in the office, some of the ladies, mm-hmm. and they were saying, "Oh, you're retiring. That's great. And when I retire, all I want to be is a greeter at Walmart." I don't know if you've heard that phrase.
I have.
And I said, I don't want to be a greeter at Walmart. I said, I want to do something in HR. And they were stone-faced. It was just, actually, I said, I love HR. I will be doing something related to HR. Mm-hmm. Now, when you get to that phase in your career that you're retired, your career journey doesn't have to stop. And that's the next phase that you discover, because as you remembered, I say, discovering your professional calling is throughout your career. Mm-hmm. And usually the experience that you've had in the past, you look back, Steve Jobs says in one of the quotes that I have in my book, mm-hmm. that in order to connect all the dots, you can't look forward. You have to look back. I did this. I came here. I came here. Now I'm here and I'm going there. Mm-hmm. So, the dots of human resources and my entire government career led me to writing this book, because the book is about my passion. Mm-hmm. The very best part and what I loved about doing, performing the duties in HR, working with the supervisors and the employees and the managers and mentoring them and training them and coaching them to better their skills and going back to school so they can move up in the promotional opportunity. And some of those folks I saw myself in, mm-hmm. and my heart went out to them. And I would sit them down and talk to them and say, let's do this. And let's strategize this way. And let's do this. So that's the part that I took out of HR. Mm-hmm. My heart, my soul was in it. And that's the part that he's taking me to in this journey that I'm on, my next career path.
Yes. So your passion and love for people and developing them, is that what you love most about HR, or what did you love most about your time in human resources?
Oh, definitely my passion and developing people. And I did love working with people. Mm-hmm. And I found out people are just people. I was telling someone the other day who called me and was talking to me about their career. I get many calls about people concerned about their career and wanting advice. And I told the young man, and he was going to a very high position. And I said, people are people no matter what level they're at. They're mm-hmm. just people. Mm-hmm. And if you love people, you can deal with them, whether they're the executive level or mm-hmm. whether they're in the maintenance department. Mm-hmm. You love people and you deal with them on all levels.
Yeah. We're talking with Diane Rudolph, new author of her book, Succeed in the Business World, Finding Your Professional Calling. Did I get that right? Discovering Your Professional Calling by Diane Rudolph. And if you have questions, you can drop those in the comments. I am going to play a quick commercial because this evening we're having an event on Love and Stuff called She's Cooking Something, and you may get an opportunity to win one of Diane's books. And so I'm going to play a little promo from that, and we'll be right back. So drop your questions in the comments. If you like to ask Diane any questions about her career and the next, which I'm really interested in talking a little bit more, Diane, about your next and how you're caring for it, all of that you experience, your love for people and your love to develop, how you're putting that into play in this book and in your next. We'll be right back.
This Friday on Angels Night, October 30th at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for one night only, Love and Stuff presents She's Cooking Something. Maybe you have the ingredients and maybe you have power, but you just need a spark to liven things up. Well, you don't want to miss this powerful event that features the angels of the Love and Stuff community as they share ingredients and recipes to power your food and your life. Tabitha Goodner, minister, counselor, Lady Dorcas, powerful woman extraordinaire, joins us, as well as Mama V, Valencia Etner, a staple in our Love and Stuff community, shares her wisdom, and Master Chef Season 8 finalist Yashika Hostin will share recipes and ingredients for finding love again. A special bonus treat, tutorial with Rashida the Glam Dr. LaShawn to help you get a recipe for your look. Come on, empower yourself. There will be prizes and giveaways and the tutorial to help you sharpen your image. You will find tips and ingredients for healing, finding joy, and more love. Tickets are only $9.99 and get yours now. See you there.
And we're back. So we hope that you will join us this evening at 7 o'clock p.m. on Facebook Live at the Love and Stuff community. You can go to the Love and Stuff page on Facebook or click on the link that will be in the comments and in the title of this video. And you can get an opportunity to win one of Diane's books, which is for everybody. You heard her say it's not just for students. It's not for people that have just joined. Thank you, Diane, for putting up Succeed in the Business World, Discover Your Professional Calling. Thank you so much. And so we want you to have a chance to win. It'll be just one that you can win, but you can purchase these books. And Diane, where can people purchase your book? Where can they find it?
They can go to my website, www.dianerudolph.net.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so you wrote this book for everybody, anybody at any place in their career, right?
Yeah.
Anywhere you are. And you're at an interesting place in your career because I would imagine you could be like some people say, I'm just going to be a grandma, or I'm just going to be a Walmart greeter. But you say, I'm carrying forward all of these dots, as you described from Steve Jobs' quotes, to see where my next is, being directed and led, as you said in the beginning, by the Lord, trusting with all thine heart and lean not to thine own understanding.
Yes.
I need to hear that today. Thank you. And so going forward, what's ahead of you look like?
Well, I'm hoping that I can speak at professional conferences in order to encourage and motivate and promote my book and pass on my life lessons in the business world and my wisdom. And also, I would like to have more pop-up book signings as well. And then I'm in the discovery mode for another book. Mm-hmm. So I'm in that discovery mode. So that's exciting. So, and it may be another business book. Mm-hmm. So those are my plans right now. I have other things that's on the back burner right now that I really don't want to talk about, but I'll be sharing them at a later date.
Okay. We talked about what you love most about human resources. What did you like least?
The long meetings. That's an easy answer. I knew you would enjoy that one.
Because I have been the recipient of very long meetings. In my mind, my mantra, Diane, is, do we have to meet? If we do, can we have an agenda before the meeting?
Yes.
So that we can review it and make suggestions and changes to it so that our time together is most productive. If our meeting is going to be a working meeting, then let's not call it a meeting. Let's do a work group and let's
Yeah.
change the format of it so it can be more dynamic and engaging. But I don't like to meet for the sake of meeting, because you're right. There are thousands of meetings, literally in a year, and people want you to be at every one. And what you find out is that there's information that they could have summarized in a phone call,
Oh, yes.
conference call, or an email. So now we're in a different environment where everybody's zoomed out, right? People are tired of zooming in. But I tell colleagues and members of my team, ask yourself, do we have to meet? Because if we don't have to meet, if that's the only, if just getting together for the sake of sharing information, there are so many ways to share the information. We have to determine whether or not this is really something that we need to come together for, and let there be an agenda so we can stick to it. I even have sticky notes that I put on the table, and anytime somebody's getting off point, if it's something that's tangential, somebody can take that sticky note and put it in the center and say, is that on the agenda? So people are learning that, that's not to hurt anybody's feelings. It's to keep you on point,
Oh,
because
yeah.
a meeting can be, filled with a lot of fluff, I think, sometimes. And so
So during the pandemic, do you think the communication has lost its effectiveness or gained it?
well, it depends on who you ask. So since you're asking me, I think for some, it has gained it because they're forced to be captive, maybe captive, to someone else's attention, right? Oftentimes, if it's one-on-one, we're on the phone, right? We're doing other things.
Right.
When you are engaged in an environment like this and you have nothing else to really look at, right?
You get to the point.
Unless your kids are running in the background or something, you're looking at each other and you're like, okay, are you with us? Are you still with us? Now, of course, today, if you ask some people, there are some people, Diane, who turn their cameras off. So you don't know what they're doing. And I don't really subscribe to that. I think if we're going to have a Zoom, everybody should be seen. But I've been in tons of meetings where you just see, their name, or if that, you're hearing their voice. And so for some people, it has not improved the communication. For some, it's powered it because people are a little more focused, little, I think.
Very good.
Yeah. But, we've had, managers meetings when there were, 18 people around the table, and there were 18 different thoughts and 18 different ways. And so you found that meeting going longer and longer and longer. So I agree with you. Meetings.
And I have I want to read a quote from my book, since
Yes.
this is Passion Friday. It's a passion quote.
Yes.
And I thought that would be appropriate.
Absolutely.
And this is about passion. You must be passionate about your career or business. When you're passionate about something, you'll absolutely love it. You're devoted to it and good at it. No matter how tough things get, telling yourself that this is the career you love and dreamed of will help you to get through any obstacles that come your way. It's like a shot of adrenaline that keeps you motivated and on the right track.
That's a great quote from the book. This sounds like a great book. Everybody needs to get it and read it. I love that quote, and we might have to hashtag some parts of that quote and put it along with this video.
I thought it would be perfect for Passion Fridays.
It is perfect for Passion Friday. So let me ask you, as a follow-up to that, when someone loves what they do, feels called to what they do, but they're meeting such great resistance in that work, what would you say to them, to him or her, that would help them to keep pushing forward?
Well, life and our career is full of challenges. I mean, anything that you love, and many people consider a great job and a great career a blessing, Marcus. Mm-hmm. They consider, oh, I was blessed with this great career. I love it. I was blessed with this great job. I love it. But there are some hindrances and there are some obstacles. You have to work through them. Simply put, it's just like your life. Every obstacle that come your way, you have to work through it. And your career is the same way. So you have to fight for what you love and conquer the obstacles and move ahead and be successful in that job.
Yeah. Roger Williams has joined us on Facebook. He says, hello,
Hi,
Diane.
Roger.
Good to see your smile. Much success to you.
Thank you, Roger.
Yes. And so you say push forward, keep holding on, keep moving forward, because there will be obstacles. Can you recall from your career any big obstacle that you overcame that you can share with us?
Oh my, I can't recall any really big obstacles that got in my way. I had a lot of little things, but nothing really big. I can't recall anything like that. That doesn't come to mind right now. Okay. It probably will after the meeting.
Right. And it might be there's this whole positive psychology around how you see an obstacle, right? So it might be big to somebody else and you say, me and God can handle that. So I'm just wondering if,
because you have to fight through. You have to fight. You have to battle through. Yeah. And it's just like your faith. Your faith allows you and trains you to battle through. That God can take me through anything and I can come out victorious. And if you use that mindset in your career and whatever you're trying to choose, you're going to be successful and you're going to succeed. And, and I know that we're in a time right now where we're in a pandemic and some people feel like maybe that to stay stagnated and not do much or not go anywhere and I do believe that you should be safe, but no matter what we're going through as a nation, I feel that we should always be in the mode to succeed. The scripture says the race isn't given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but time and chance happen to them all. This is your time. This is your chance. And this is your opportunity to succeed in the business world.
Wonderful.
But you need to move cautiously, wisely, and safely, but you need to move.
And someone who is moving, Diane, someone who is, okay, this is my call. This is where I think I am. So this is what I think I'm supposed to be doing as a career. They take that first step, they get that new job, they get that promotion, and then what? What would you say to them as next steps once they get that new job in that business, or they start that business, or they get that promotion? So now you're starting to succeed, right?
Yeah. You know what you just said reminds me of my 3 hot topics that I like to share about my book.
Okay.
Number 1, discover your professional calling. Number 2, maintain it and keep it, because sometimes we can lose a good career and a good job. Number 3, excel in it. So once you've gotten that great job and that great position and you've been promoted, you have to excel. You just don't become complacent. You have to be the very best that you can be in that position.
And tell us again these 3 hot topics.
Discover your professional calling.
Okay.
Keep and maintain it. 3, excel in it.
And I don't want to go too deep in your, because this is in the book, right? These are hot topics from the book. So I want them to read the book. But number 2, tell me a little bit more about that number 2. Can you talk a little bit more about keep and maintain it? Because I think sometimes it's like could be like a marriage, even though you have a great marriage, been married a long time. It could be like a marriage. You could let it get stale, right? If you don't maintain it, right?
Exactly.
It would never happen to you. Your hair is always so perfectly done, but if you didn't maintain it, it might not be perfectly done, right? So how do you keep and maintain that job? How would you advise people to do that?
One of the chapters, I'm going to give you the name of one of my chapters. One of the chapters in my book is the principles of business character. And I discuss principles on how to excel in your job, in your career. And those principles are essential. The principles and the standards in my book is going to help you to maintain that job. It's going to help you to keep that job, and it's going to help you to excel in it.
Mhm. All right. So you have principles and standards by
I have
which.
principles and standards in my book
Mhm.
that I've applied in my life, shared with others, and now I'm sharing it with you all.
Mhm. Sounds like a must read. Must
It is
read.
a must read.
Yes. What fills you up at the end of the day? I know you're passionate about human resources. You have this new passion with this book, and you're exploring passion for another book. What is the thing or activity or person that fills you up?
Well, when I hear the testimonies of people that I have come in contact with and motivated and encouraged, and when I see that they're excelling in and achieving their career goals, it just resonates with my heart and my spirit, because that's what I want my readers to do to
Mhm.
succeed in the business world.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
And
that
that
fills
feels good.
me. That
Yeah.
fills me.
Mhm.
That fills me.
Yeah. When you have the return on your investment of
The
time.
return, Marcus, that's why one of my goals is to touch as many people as I can with my book, because I believe so many need it.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any regrets from your years of employment? Any regrets?
You know, I can't think of any regrets. My years of employment was beneficial and fruitful. It got me to where I am now.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I don't have any regrets.
Okay. Nothing that you would have done differently or done more of or done less of?
Well, maybe those things, sure. Yeah, I probably could have done some more things, and
Mhm.
in human resources, and I found that being in human resources, especially at the executive level and the manager level,
Mhm.
there are so many gifts in the room,
Mhm.
so many bright gifts,
Mhm.
and many times when someone was making a suggestion, I was thinking it in my mind.
Mhm.
So, everybody can't make that suggestion.
Mhm.
So it's the quickest tongue.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I love the challenge of working with such talented people.
Mhm.
But when you're in a setting like that, your gift can be overlooked.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
can,
Mhm.
because it's so many gifts in the room.
Mhm.
Because at the managerial level, it's the best.
Mhm.
It's all the gifted ones.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I just made that observation
Mhm.
that if you just took us and put us with other people other than all of us in a room all together all the time,
Mhm.
we would have been more productive.
Got it. Got it. And I'm wondering,
So
because you
that was a regret. That was a
uh-huh,
regret. I could
that
have been more productive in other places because it was so many great gifts in the room.
mhm. Yeah, I think it's important that leaders do understand that so that they can really lead from the edges and empower people to move to the center with those great gifts. So you say, as you say, making them more productive. So what would you say to someone who's in that room today and they're around great gifts and they're not as quick to the idea, but they're like you, they were thinking maybe they have the same idea. How does that person differentiate him or herself in a way, position him or herself in a way that those executive leaders see him or her as a value contributor and gives more opportunity to that person?
Well, I think they are already seen as a value contributor because that's why they're in the room.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what they have to do while they're in that room is devise a plan of how to be acknowledged more
Mhm.
and how to be considered as they put in their suggestions and their recommendations and things of that nature.
Mhm.
And then maybe be allowed to work on special projects that would highlight their gift and their abilities.
Mhm. So maybe they should volunteer for some projects to be able to, work on various projects
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and strategize as to how they can get a word in edgewise. Because you're right, when you have a lot of,
You know what I'm talking about.
especially in human resources,
Yes.
we're all talkers, right? We all have the gift to gab and we all have 1,000 ideas. And so I can imagine being in that room. It could be intimidating for someone who might move a little more slowly, not thinking more slowly, but they take a little bit more time. They're a little bit more measured
Yeah.
approach to speaking. That person needs to be able to differentiate him or herself as still, you know, a, a good candidate for whatever opportunities and ideas. And so
Yes,
you
because
devise a
and
plan.
just like I said, they're all in the room because they're gifted.
Yeah, I think
And they
that's an
have mhm.
yeah. Go
And they
ahead.
have leadership qualities.
Yeah,
They have leadership qualities.
yeah. I think that's important for people to hear that because you're in the room, there is some value to that.
Yes.
And leverage that value to be able to differentiate yourself. I think that's awesome. And so for the, we have millennials that are in the workplace. Everybody's concerned about them, Diane, because people believe we're going to make great investments in millennials and then they're going to leave our organization. And so retention of millennials is
Oh,
a concern today. And so, but to be successful in the business world, we need to tap into that talent, right? Because
yeah.
as people that are more tenured decide to go off the scene or decide to write books or decide to travel the world, there have to be people coming behind them. And so what do you say to those people that are coming behind them, those millennials that are entering the workplace who might not have an allegiance, not planning to stay more than 2 years? How should they look at success maybe differently than you did? You stayed for 31 years. How would somebody, excuse me, who's looking only to stay for 2 years define success?
And I think the city of Detroit needs to look at that. I know I'm shifting a little bit, but with what you said, but they need to be able to retain these millennials. And the way you do it, you update your processes. Some of the things haven't changed much since I left.
Mhm.
And the millennials are coming from private industry with all these great ideas, all these new applications. And if we toss them aside, we're going to lose them.
Mhm.
We have to come up to where they are at. And we
Mhm.
have to be able to offer them something. If we're not training and teaching them and giving them more knowledge about recruitment, about employee services, or about servicing the departments, they're going to go somewhere else. So, and we want bright, smart, young people,
Mhm.
but your processes have to be up to their level. And
Mhm.
they're not right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah.
to those folks, the city of Detroit is going to be a stepping stone.
Mhm.
They're just going to step in and step out
Mhm.
unless things change. You have to be willing to listen to them and hear them because they have good suggestions.
That's good advice. That's good advice. And
Yes.
that's a good advice for us as the employer. What advice would you give to the millennial who is coming into that environment and it hasn't changed? It has changed some, but it hasn't changed. Uh, what advice would you give to the millennials who are coming in?
To learn as much as they can. There are very seasoned, talented individuals at the city of Detroit. And to sit under them, learn from them, learn their wisdom. And if you have to leave, you're taking that with you, which will be a benefit to you in your career.
Mhm.
So, even if they're just passing through, just like I said earlier, all the dots connect. The dot at the city of Detroit will connect for them
Mhm.
and take them somewhere else, or it may allow them to stay right there.
Mhm. Yeah. And I know, at least for you, you started as a junior typist. And so, there are the opportunities for mobility, and
Yes, it is.
maybe we should make mobility more attractive and more easy uh, to navigate within the city. Do you think that might help with some of the retention?
Oh yes, and because everyone's goal is to be promoted and move up and advance in their career, and the city is a great place to stay. I stayed there, and I loved working out there. I don't have any regrets about spending 30 years at the city of Detroit. None. The
That's
city of Detroit was good to me all those years.
All
I
right.
would like to mention another person and that helped me with my book, my publisher, Darylyn Walker.
Okay.
Yes, and she has a publishing company, Beautiful Works Publishing Company, and she took me by the hand and led me through the self-publishing process, and I'm grateful for her.
Okay. Is that Darylyn Walker from the city of Detroit?
Yes, it is.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
One of
Okay.
the millennials we were discussing.
Yes, one of the millennials. Absolutely. Well, that's great to hear. We'll have to have her on. I did know that she had written a children's book, but I didn't know she was had a publishing company.
She has written a series of children's books. She is an accomplished writer and has been my inspiration. And if you have her on, I know your viewers would enjoy her as well as you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that. Learning something new every day. Well, Diane, it's 12:59. I've had a great time with you, and I hope
I've had a
viewers have as
wonderful
well.
time.
Hold up your book again so that we can see it. Congratulations on your first book. Succeed in the Business World. Discover Your Professional Calling by Diane Rudolph. Congratulations and kudos to you. You can go to dianerudolph.com to make purchase of this book.
No,
and
.net. DianeRudolph.net.
.net. Thank you so much. And if you join us tonight at 7:00 p.m., you will have an opportunity to win one of these great books. You don't want to miss the event tonight, and you don't want to sleep on this book. This is a great book written by a great person who is
Thank you so much, Marcus.
what she does. This has been Passion Fridays with Diane Rudolph, our special guest. Succeed in the business world. Discover your professional calling. Thank you so much, Diane Rudolph.
Thank you, Marcus.